Welcome to a short video that demonstrates how to create a meaningful vision for a Development Plan Growth Strategy, or OCP. Our process is based on the principles of site adaptive design, which require a thorough understanding of the place where a development is proposed. Every place is different. Some places are very complex and require much investigation to understand. Other places are simple, and common knowledge may be enough. No matter where a place fits in this spectrum, the basic framework for an understanding of the place will include knowledge of the prevalent social, economic, and environmental systems and drivers. In the Comox Valley, this usually starts with an acknowledgement that we are occupying the traditional lands of the people of the Comox First Nation. The list of other systems and drivers might include demographics, business practices, and local industry, coastal influences, landscape, geology, hydrology, wildlife corridors, sensitive ecosystems, and much, much more. We will map just a few of these systems to inform the design of our example exercise. Let's look at a few of the basic systems and drivers, starting with water. Comox sits on relatively high ground that drains naturally into Comox Bay through at least 3 local watersheds. Brooklyn Creek is the largest, best known, and well preserved, reaching the bay at the foot of McDonald Wood Park after collecting water up around Crown Isle lands. Golf Course Creek empties into the bay at the Jane Place subdivision after a tortuous trip underneath the Key development, Berwick House, and the Comox Mall. The headwaters appear to start in the Comox Golf Club, and it is anticipated that historically this creek naturally drained lands up to the old Village Park school site. Port Augusta Creek, also known as Indian Creek, empties into the bay at the foot of Port Augusta Park. The creek disappears into the Comox sewer system below the intersection of Comox Avenue and Anderton Road. Historically, as recently as 1972, this creek ran in daylight all the way up to the wetlands that remain at the intersection of McDonald Road and Lerwick. Each of these watersheds has a unique upland zone where much of their water originates. These contributory areas are very important to the long-term health of a watershed, yet they can easily accommodate development. Water finds its way into collection zones via surface flow and groundwater seepage. It is critical to understand how these collection zones function, as they require carefully considered design approaches to any planned development. They are the most important, subject to flooding due to high contributing land area. The water eventually makes its way into conveyance zones, including streams, creeks, and floodplains, all necessary to accommodate the variety of seasonal flows of water into the sea. Next, we will map the system of parks and open green spaces. Comox has a fine collection of waterfront parks that includes Port Augusta Park, Marina Park, McDonald Wood Park, and Philburg Lodge. The Comox Golf Club is the largest urban green space, and it occupies an important central location in the town. The Comox Rec Center and a number of other local parks are dispersed throughout the community. Comox still has a number of large forested rural green spaces on its perimeter. Next, we will add an overlay of the major transportation corridors into and out of the town of Comox. With the permission of the Comox First Nation, Comox Avenue will likely remain as the main route into town. Comox Avenue turns northward, becoming Pritchard Road, and runs up to the Comox Air Force Base and the Comox International Airport. Knight Road connects across the top of Comox, and the Anderton Road corridor returns back into town after connecting Comox with the Powell River Ferry Terminal. The last major arterial is the Lerwick-Guthrie corridor that connects East Courtenay across the middle of Comox and out to Cape Lazo. Now let's look at the commercial components of the town. Comox has a well-defined downtown core that includes the Comox Mall, Town Hall, Public Library, and the main commercial street that includes a variety of shops, restaurants, and pubs. As well, there is the town of Comox Marina, the government docks, and the private Comox Bay Marina, all of this forming the heart of the village by the sea. Outside of the core, commercial development is occurring along the main thoroughfares, serving the low-density, auto-oriented single-family communities that make up most of the outlying areas of the town. With only these few systems mapped, let's start the design process and see how they can help to inform a town vision and design concept. There is no shortage of ideas about how to make livable communities. Let's pick a couple of common ones and use them in our site adaptive design process. To make our community livable, let's make it walkable by concentrating most of the new development within walking distance of the core. Everything inside the first circle is a 5-minute walk. The second circle adds an additional area that falls within a 10-minute walk of the downtown core. We will come back to this area in a minute. Greenways are another key component to making the town livable. When designed effectively, They can play many roles, including natural water management, pedestrian and cycling corridors, as well as open green space for recreation and safe wildlife movements. A waterfront greenway is a natural component to this village by the sea, connecting existing parks and reinforcing our sense of place. New greenways are proposed and developed over time by including them piece by piece as part of all new developments. Existing corridors will be expanded in terms of length and width so that they can be enjoyed by all, and, when combined with existing watercourse, can accommodate the expected increases in stormwater events. Other strategic greenways will be proposed that will link existing parks into the new greenway network. The design of greenways should be given careful consideration, especially when they are planned in conjunction with stream systems. If done carefully and given enough space, greenways can accommodate many functions for the community while adding significant value and a high quality of life. The land area within the inner ring will include the highest densities of new development and a mix of residential and commercial uses. The land within the second ring will include enough density to support the town core activities and will be mostly residential, except for local commercial amenity. The remaining land within our rings will develop only as can be accommodated by the challenging constraints of the existing natural water systems. These areas will require careful site-adaptive design. The land outside of the core area can remain as low-density residential with the occasional commercial amenity. Infill should be encouraged to accommodate the new demand for this form of suburban auto-oriented development. Let's take a look at the dense inner core area of the plan by zooming in on a small piece of land. As we densify the core, short pedestrian streets and small city blocks will be the key to creating a livable, walkable, mixed-use community. Densities of up to 40 residential units per acre are possible with a maximum building height of 4 stories. Finally, to supplement the walkability of the community, our last design element is a compact and efficient public transit system. A simple loop route will service the dense and compact core. 5-minute service in both directions would be easily achievable. A centrally located transit hub would form the terminus to other routes providing service to our neighboring communities, the airport, and the ferry terminal. It is important to note that this is not a political process. It is a collaboration of local expertise, research, public input, and forward-thinking planning principles. The goal of this exercise was simply to demonstrate how an understanding of the land and some new planning concepts can be combined using site-adaptive design to create a meaningful conceptual plan, growth strategy, or an OCP.